This is Private Matters. I'm Max van Praag, and today I'm talking with Cary Valentine. He's an amazing man, very passionate man who transforms people's lives and helps them be in love forever. Welcome, Cary.
Thank you so much, man.
Yeah. This is a really important piece of the relationship puzzle. Is how to stay in love, and you have developed a method from your own experience. You walk your talk.
Thank you.
And you're helping people how to
stay in love forever, create it, and walk in that space for sure.
You were a percussionist?
Yeah, I'm a drummer percussionist. Yeah. So I always heard the negative in my head, and yet my external experience was good. But I heard you stink. You're worthless.
The criticism, which blocks your criticism.
It blocks creativity, energy, vibrancy, everything. If what I call you bite into that, and so that darkened energy, just over time, years after years, just created a very I call blubber space inside myself. It got to a point of such like compression, physical compression in my head. A real heavy feeling in my body and nothing I was doing was really working to clear it. You know, I'd done therapy, done yoga, done meditation, ran an Ayurveda health retreat. It still kept coming up until one day I just said I had enough of this. Just whoever you are, just cut this off. And it was amazing, because in that moment I heard so loud in my head, Cary, did you ever think that what you're hearing in your head is the exact opposite of what you're hearing? That the doubts are your trainers, they're your coaches. They're sending you memos to get your attention and turn it inside out. So whatever the negative is, it's really the positive. But I had to learn how to believe in myself. I had to start putting that in.
So you were challenging those negative thoughts, and turning them around. How did you do that?
Quite arduously at first, but bit by bit, because of my meditation background, I was able to really interrogate those voices and those words, and really kind of slow it down, like almost like I heard like you stink, and I was like, hey, I just heard that. And then I would see that there were actually programs, like the repetitiveness. So I was able to slow it down, kind of like old days in the music world, in the music studio where there was tape, and you're and I was able to do that, and then realize that the feelings in the body of when we bite into that negativity is the second step. The first step is the words that you stink, that you're worthless, you won't be so successful. But then the next phase is you actually bite into that poisoned apple. It's not one and the same. In either case, then you basically neutralize it by saying a phrase, this is perfect.
It's like an epiphany for you.
Totally.
And then
totally,
what happened?
What happened was I started working on that, and there was like a black cloud over my head in my life at that point. It was like, what's the character in Peanuts? Pigpen. It always had that dark, cloud over his head. That was dirt for him, but mine was just negative energy of really, I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have a lot of good self-confidence, all of that.
But then you turned that around. And what happened for you?
So everything changed. My whole energy changed. Bit by bit, that depression feeling just was like pinholes in that black cloud. And as it continued going, those pinholes got bigger and bigger until one day it was gone. And the depression and all of that was gone. So my ability as a performer, as a musician, got so much better. My ability as a human being and clear, and in my relationships were clearer because...
With your wife?
Totally, And we were doing this at that time as well, together.
And then how did it happen that your vocation changed? You're no longer a percussionist.
I still am.
Yep. Oh, you are?
Yeah, I still perform and record. Though what happened is, for me, from that change, Max, it really changed my life. Because so many years in the pain, so many years in misery, and I'm not in that anymore. And I'm happy. All I ever wanted was to be happy, really, and all I ever was miserable. So the change came from my heart to say, wait a second here. I've changed. Now, I've changed. Maybe this is good for others as well, not just for me. So I started sharing it with friends, which led to workshops, speaking, which led to the book, and doing what I'm doing here today.
Well, you could be talking about how to get rid of negativity. You're talking about love relationships in your work.
Yes.
How did this
Yeah,
happen?
so this is a great piece because, you know, it's easy to fall in love, but it's easier to fall out of love.
Mm-hmm.
And all it takes is one thought, right? One thought of judgment, negativity, a doubt, something that happened in the interaction with your partner, and it may be true or you may be interpreting it. And so what I really saw to sustain that love is to watch those doubts and turn them inside out. So if you know you have a thought or something that bothered you about your partner, catch it. And yes, talk about it if need be, but mostly catch it yourself and go, wait a second, I don't have to bite into that experience. Like, oh, well, like meaning, let's see, something happened and you think, oh, maybe she doesn't like me anymore. But it wasn't that she said that, it was just the thought.
Your own thought, your own story.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, the story in your head. So then stop that thought and turn it around. You know, catch it and go, wait a sec, I heard, oh, maybe she doesn't like me? Ah, what's the truth? She does like me. And in that, then it's literally like the old bicycle pumps, you know, you're pumping up your own energy. And it's power with that truth and getting that transparency and honesty connected to your heart. So then you come back to your partner and you're vibrant.
Now, your wife recently passed.
Yeah.
And you're coming on this path of helping people with their. It was around the time that she passed. How did this all?
Yeah, what a great question. Yeah, well, Wendy and I were doing seminars and already doing
teaching
this work.
Together.
Yes,
this work.
We're already doing this work. And
that you discovered together.
Yes, and maybe in a moment I can share a little bit about how that all came about too. But so we wrote the book, and shortly thereafter she was diagnosed with brain tumor, glioblastoma. And then everything changed.
This goes very fast. I have a friend who died in a week after.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, she died on the almost like on the way to the hospital. I mean, it was a week after she started feeling dizzy.
Wow. Yeah, it can be like that. Wendy was blessed with 2 years, you know, and there's amazing new constant information. So it's. It's
a very aggressive tumor.
It is it's the most aggressive brain tumor, yeah. And it taught us and taught me a lot about love, you know, and taught me also, like in the past 5 years, both of my parents passed as well. But Wendy passing really hit me, the grief hit me really hard and quick, but it also, what took me out of it almost, to kind of clear it, was the realization that, my gosh, we all live in like an hourglass, and none of us know when the sun's going to run out.
Yes.
So live so fully. Be, you know, carpe diem. Seize the day and say what you got to say, and pull it out, because it's the moment that matters. This moment.
That's right.
And from
even
that,
if it's difficult, even if the person
if
the person doesn't want to talk to you.
Yes, because you just don't know what. Saying what you need to say is going to open for you or for the other person or whatever.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
very beautiful.
Thank you. And gratitude, gratefulness really was born for me from that. That I live now in a, like almost hydroplaning on life in a sense. Maybe that's not the right way to say it, but it's this, like, you know, just living large of every moment, because it doesn't come back. And I don't know if I'm going to wake up tomorrow. Does any of us? You know, so let's live so fully each day. And in love forever, that's not just a phrase. This is real. You can really create this joy, this effervescent happiness and love. And how I came to that was the exact opposite. Meaning, Max, all my life I was creating like a factory of miserable bricks, you know, just because of my own beliefs and all of that. And then again, one day I just said, I realized it, and I was creating this misery because I realized, who can make me happy? Me. And who can make me miserable? Me. So I was like, wait a second, I put my own self in the handcuffs, then I can pull myself out. And just the desire, just the awakening of me going, wait a second, I've created my reality. I have to take responsible for all those miserable feelings. Cool. Not fun feeling-wise, but as Uncle Albert Einstein once said, that everything in the universe has its equal and opposite. And so I knew then, wow, no matter how deep and dark that well of despair went, I never saw a sign like Bugs Bunny saying, hey, Cary, only 10 more feet to the end of the well of despair. It never happened. So then I realized, wait a second, if there is no end, then there's no ceiling to the amount of joy, to the amount of effervescence, to the amount of love we can have. It's just awaiting us. We just have to do it. And so then I started, the information started coming to me about how to keep doing that.
In Love Forever is about, is not necessarily about being married or being with a person. It's a state of mind. It's how you are with yourself.
It's a great point. Yeah, it's both. It's because to be in love with your partner, you first got to be in love with yourself. So this information is really great for couples. And it's really awesome for individuals looking for a relationship because, so often for people that I coach, for couples and singles, the terms in their head like, oh, I'm too old to find a partner, or all the good partners are already taken. That's all a bunch of BS, it's again in here. But when you turn it around and start pumping yourself up and go, I'm ready to attract a beautiful lover because I'm starting to feel that, and you start putting that out energetically, things start happening. Yes, and it's magical, and this is the joy. I think we as humans, we know in a sense, we've mastered misery, but we're just beginning on the edge of joy and happiness, of how to do it. There are definitely people doing it in the world, but I'm talking the big picture, all of humanity. That it's exciting, but we have a lot to grow. And that's what I love to share with folks about that, because again, I know what it was like being really miserable. And there's so much hope and so much possibility for people.
All right, so this book is going to come out in Love Forever. It's going to come out this year.
Yes.
You have a website where people can find you in loveforever.com.
Yeah.
And you are coaching people or counseling people, or couples or singles?
Yes, both.
So what does a typical day in the life of Cary Valentine look like?
Well, depends on where I am, on Kauai or here on the mainland. But I wake up kind of with my running sneakers on, just ready to help, serve people. And so a lot of my day is just that, sessions with folks, whether couples or one person in a relationship that wants to work out the relationship first and bring the information I'm sharing with them, or both parties in the couple, or single people. And it's really been gratifying to, some of the couples have actually had affairs in their relationship that it wasn't something they wanted, and it was really deteriorating the relationship. And it's been awesome to help them through it, to see what the lessons needed to be learned, what the communication, the transparency, the intimacy. Well,
you just said it, what needed to be learned. Isn't that always the question to ask in any uncomfortable situation that we are in a relationship, is what am I to learn in this situation?
Yeah. And therefore being in relationship, like it's almost easier in some aspects to be a single person because you're alone. No one's in your energy field. No one's with you day to day. You can almost hide. But when you're in relationship, you're relating to one another, and therefore you get reflected back, the stuff to grow, you know. And I always say, you know, rather run away from the challenges, snuggle into them, you know, like really make love to the challenges. And one of the things, this is Valentine's Day and pieces that I'm sharing with people, is about having an affair. This is another way of this angle. Have an affair with your partner. And so bring all the ideas that you would think of having an affair, like going on a secret, you know, getaway, tell your partner to have whatever clothes that you want and things, and you know, there's a little bit of that.
Design it, like
yes,
design
a
it.
secret time, and it could fill, you know, whatever your budget is, you know, you can do this. And it's really awesome to do that, especially for couples who are their relationship's a little stale. That'll bring it up. And it's also a great time when you're in that to talk about the vulnerable things, talk about the intimacy things that are happening in your head, and that often we don't talk about, and
right.
to bring it out and share it, because as a couple we're there to really manage each other. Because again, in a heterosexual relationship, there's this great phrase: if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
What is one of the most difficult and challenging things you have experienced in your life? I imagine it may be what we just discussed about your wife, but maybe
actually,
there's something else.
no, not that time. But what was the most challenging time was Wendy and I, back in 2001, we hit the brink of divorce. You know, you know, it was like, how did this happen, Max? It was like almost like imperceptibly, day by day, you know, our inabilities at that point and not having the right tools to communicate things that I woke up one day in the morning and just was like, who are you? And I was like, who am I? And that brought us to actually a 4-year journey to really, where the doubts I shared earlier,
yeah.
We lived in the desert of Idaho, and for 4 years figuring this stuff out. And for people now, you can just get the book, you can share with me, it's like a software download.
Wendy.
Yes. So we literally for 2 years.
And how long was your marriage?
24.
24 years.
Yeah. Yes. And
so now your life is completely different.
Yes.
You're a free man.
Yes, yeah. It's a new world of dating and that world, and I'm learning things like that too. But it's amazing because Wendy and I also had a care and understanding for each other that realized that if either one of us passed, this was before that happened with her, that to just go on, find love again. And I think that's a great testament to the love that we did have. And, you know, so, because like we had this love and great care, and we were like, found ourselves on the brink of divorce, totally dried up, and then rejuicified, brought the relationship back through communication and through intimacy physically as well, where we really opened up and shared honestly about our fantasies, our fears, our desires, all of those things that at the beginning of a relationship, it was almost like a unspoken thing. I'm not going there, you're not going there. And so then we did, and it was great. It was just so awesome to really open ourselves up again, like never before. And so these are things that, I share with people, and to really go there.
So do people ask you when they find out what you do, whether you're in a relationship currently?
Yes, and I am.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's been an amazing experience. Yeah.
But it would also be okay to not be in a relationship.
For sure.
And teach.
Oh, totally.
Totally okay.
Well, the thing is for me, Max, the things that I share is really, I'm after results, and I'm after real life stuff. And so everything I share is stuff that is bed proven and tested. And
Good.
So it's not just a talking head here. This is from my own experience and working with many people, that it's real. This is real stuff. And it's stuff that's quickly really transforms people's lives. Yeah.
Do you do sessions and workshops?
Yes. Yeah.
What is a workshop that you teach?
Yeah, so a lot of pieces about the 7 secrets. That's the subtitle of the book, 7 Secrets to a Joyous, Juicy Relationship. So how to take the relationship, whether your relationship's good or you're on the side where you may break up. Wherever you are, the information's really there to support couples and take you through the process and understanding and communicate better, and yes, also have more intimacy, and for the man and female to understand that too, their roles.
That's right, and
Yes.
they're not the same. Right.
Exactly.
What are the 7 secrets?
All right.
We want the viewers to know. The 7 secrets.
Give me my book. Okay. So the 7 secrets. So first is transparency. Get it, I call it let's get real. And then the second is communication tools. And the third is dealing with the doubts, that the doubts are your best friends. They're not your enemies. And fourth is the love agreement. This is an agreement between partners to solidify and divorce-proof their relationship. Before that, though, there is the piece to affect your partner without saying ever a word. And that's by,
beautiful.
And that's by writing a letter. If need be, it's about if you're really in trouble, like, and the communication isn't getting to the partner, write a letter from your heart, but say everything you got to say and mean it, because if it's about, like, if you don't change or if we can't transform this, then, I'm leaving could be, then you got to put that out there. And then sixth is about the new juicy you, that you really are transforming yourself and your relationship. So the new juicy you and the new juicy vibrant couple.
So what's the 7th key?
The 7th is your body has feelings too. Yeah. Yes. And that's connected to the doubts. And when we bite into the negativity, then that our body's telling us something. When we feel that heaviness, it's not to play with it. Turn it around. You can do it within seconds and minutes once you've really downloaded and learned this technique. Yeah. Oh, well, there's so many. I mean, there's another one, complete and delete, which family patterns, childhood patterns that kept repeating. For me, like, my parents had a great way of showing their love for one another. Yelling, screaming, hollering, and slamming doors. And I, as a child,
Toxic.
Yeah,
So toxic.
Growing up in New Jersey, New York, Jewish family, I was really affected. I was at that time very shy, and I hardly even spoke. And actually, playing drums brought my voice out. Because I chose to be really affected by what was going on. But as a child, you don't know these things, So basically, throughout my adult life, even though I wasn't living with my parents anymore, that same scenario would come up in my being and still be affected. Until one day I said, I'm sick and tired of this. And Wendy and I created this process called Complete and Delete, where literally, like a file in the computer, you
change your belief.
You throw it. You've journaled. You pound the the punching bag. You've beaten up the trees in the forest. You screamed and hollered. There's no more wisdom to be gained from it. It's just a recycling pattern. And you go, I'm done with this. I'm choosing to be done with this pattern. And by doing that was like literally taking the file in the computer and throwing it in the trash. And that was done. And it was amazing, because at first I didn't know really what was going to happen, but it was cleared, and it was left space in me. A few months later, I found myself visiting my parents, and guess what they were doing? Their thing, yelling, screaming, and fighting. And I was standing in the kitchen hearing them. And instead of, like before, being affected, kind of cringing in, I just found love, for them. And when they did their thing and they were over, I said, hey, any of you hungry? You want something to eat? It was gone. And from that, I've then helped others like deal with Lyme disease and all kinds of, childhood and adult life issues that are just patterns.
Yes.
And complete and delete them. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, I have to say, I really feel your authority in the way you speak of this and how you have taken responsibility for your own life, and you are obviously inspiring other people to be responsible for themselves.
Yeah.
Not put it on another. Not
Correct.
say, okay,
Yes.
I feel bad because of you, and you make me unhappy, and you're not showing up. And no, it's all about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And use the partner to reflect ourselves rather than, just like what you're saying. Yeah, and I'm just so into creating a revolution of love.
Yes.
A peaceful revolution. Let's transform this world, because my gosh, what value, what good does the misery, unhappiness bring in our lives? It doesn't bring us, positive things.
Yeah.
No, but to turn it around and be happy, be more intimate is good for our personal relationship. It's good for our family with kids if we've chosen that.
Yes.
It's good for our business, because you're coming inspired, fired up. And then the two partners really work at it to manage each other and to really care. You want to care for the other person more than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in a day-to-day thing, and that's in also what's going on in your intimate situation in the bedroom. Like, really care to please your partner. And especially for guys,
Well, it depends who you are.
Yeah.
The other person, I'm important too. So if you're not able to be selfish, I used to teach a class called The Art of Selfishness.
Mm-hmm.
And putting yourself first can be sometimes the most important lesson for somebody who may be a pleaser type.
Yes.
But if you are good at taking care of yourself, then
Yes.
you need to learn
Yeah.
how to take care of the other.
Yes.
So both are important.
They totally are.
If I'm totally taking care of you, but I don't know how to assert my own needs and desires, then I'm not a good partner necessarily.
Yes. And I wasn't taking it so literal, but more of really care, extend yourself.
Sure.
And also then share with your partner how you want to be pleased and explore, try different things, new things. Yes. Great point. Thank you.
So people can find you on inloveforever.com.
Yes.
They can contact you.
Yes.
They can find out more about your work.
Yes. And they can get a very special create the relationship of your dreams report from that website too. And they just be in contact with me. I'd love to interact with people.
It's obvious. Thanks for what you do, and thanks for being here.
Thank you so
hope
much.
Hope to have you back someday.
I'd love to.
This was Private Matters, where we help people all around the world have happier and deeper intimate relationships. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with more.
Si vos escrevem, no estàs escrevent. Si vos esquecem, no estàs esquecent. A teu dia que vou voltar. Si vos escrevem, no estàs escrevent. Si vos esquecem, no estàs esquecent. A teu dia que vou voltar. Saudade, saudade.